Цими днями в Niagara Falls відбувається постійний синод Української греко-католицької церкви. Про значення і програму синоду сьогодні розпитаємо у одинокого представника з Канади на синоді владика Кена Новаківського з New Westminster в Британській Колумбії.
Владико Кен Новаківський, слава Ісусу Христу! Вітаємо вас на нашій програмі і дякуємо, що поясните нам, що це таке постійний синод. Дякуємо, що ви тут з нами. І since you mentioned that you suggested that we speak in English, let's start right away. Please, Bishop Ken, please explain to us what is the postійний synod of the Ukrainian Catholic Church.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you on Kontakt. We watch it here in New Westminster in Vancouver, so we're happy to be able to be with you. Well, the Permanent Synod of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church is that particular body that assists our Patriarch Sviatoslav in the governance and administration of the Church in the times that are between the Great Synod. So the Great Synod, which means when all of the bishops of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church are called together, usually once a year, usually in Kyiv or in Lviv, to meet and to discuss matters that concern the entire church. However, the ruling of the church or the governance of the church needs to continue between synods. And so in canon law, there is a group of bishops that are referred to as the Permanent Synod, and it comprises of the Patriarch, His Beatitude Sviatoslav, and 4 bishops that are from the general body of the Synod of Bishops. 3 are elected and 1 is appointed, and it's a 5-year term. This Synod of Bishops, or the Permanent Synod, meets with the Patriarch at least 2 times a year, but in my experience, for the last 4.5 years, we've met approximately 4 times a year. Often the Synod meets, the Permanent Synod meets in Ukraine, but we also do meet at least once a year, or try to meet at least once a year outside of Ukraine.
So this time we understand that the meeting is in Niagara Falls, very close here to Toronto. And one thing that I would like to still point out, that you're the only Canadian bishop on this permanent synods, and so that everybody knows, that's why we're speaking to you today, because we're in Canada. So thank you for that.
So the other 3 bishops of the Permanent Synod are Archbishop Metropolitan Volodymyr Vitishin from Ivano-Frankivsk, Bishop Yaroslav Peris from Drohobych-Sembir, and Bishop Boris Gudyak from the Ukrainian Catholic Eparchy of St. Volodymyr the Great in Paris. And I'm also on the Permanent Synod, which is the 4 of us. And yes, this year we are meeting at the end of February in Niagara Falls in the Eparchy of Toronto. This is the first time that our synod has had a formal meeting in Canada, although it's actually the second time that the Permanent Synod is meeting in Canada. And the reason I say that is because in 2012, when the Great Synod met in Winnipeg, Brandon, right after that synod and after each Great Synod, the Permanent Synod meets for approximately 1 day or a half a day. And that was actually my first meeting of the Permanent Synod, which was in Winnipeg, immediately after our Great Synod that happened there. So this is the second time, I suppose we could say, that the Synod is meeting in Canada, the Permanent Synod, but the first time that it's a full synodal meeting, which will take over approximately 3.5 days.
Well, I remember being at our Kontakt was covering the synod that you had out in Brandon. We didn't know about the permanent one, but it's a nice memory that you bring that up. Now, what is the planned agenda, if it can be disclosed, for Niagara Falls?
Well, the agenda is really set by His Beatitude, but normally the discussion or the Permanent Synod is there to hear the reports of the various patriarchal and synodal commissions and to prepare for the Great Synod, which will happen this year in the first weeks of September in Ukraine. And so on the agenda, there will be the preparation of the Synod, the listening of the various reports. One of the reports that I can tell you about is one that I'll be giving. In 2011, I was elected by the Synod to head the strategic plan of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church until 2020. We refer to it as the Vibrant Parish. And so every permanent Synod, I'm asked to provide a report about the activities of our working group that is implementing the strategic plan, which is based on the pastoral letter of His Beatitude, Java Paraphia, the Vibrant Parish, the place to encounter the living Christ. And in each of our eparchies and exarchates, we have a local representative, and we work through that local representative along with the bishop to implement those strategies. So it's important for the head of the church and the permanent synod members to have a pulse on the church, what's going on, what we're doing. So that's certainly one of the areas that will be discussed.
Bishop Ken, you mentioned Vibrant Parish, Java Paraphia. I think we have a very Java eparchy here in Toronto, and there seems to be some I don't know, unknowns or even maybe secrecy about issues here in our area. Would you know whether the issue of the sale of the Basilian Monastery on Weston Road, that conceivably even has reached papal levels, will be discussed on this particular permanent synod in Niagara Falls?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm really not at liberty to go into details of that, but I can tell you from my own experience that when the permanent synod meets outside of Ukraine, last year we met in Chicago, and so we would deal with issues that, of course, pertain to all of the countries, so issues that perhaps are near and dear to my heart, which is the Eparchy of New Westminster. But further than that, I really can't go into what will be discussed regarding the Eparchy of Toronto or regarding the Eparchy of Edmonton, for that matter. Certainly, issues of a local matter, a country matter, I'm sure will be discussed.
Now, do you know? Like, I do understand that this is being planned by the Secretariat in Lviv, but do you know if are there any public gatherings or any public appearances or any, whether it's press releases after or access to the media for this event at all?
I'm under the impression that on Sunday, February the 26th, the various members of the Permanent Synod will be celebrating at different parishes in the Eparchy of Toronto. I'm not sure where the other bishops will be, but I will be at our parish in St. Catharines, and I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so is there anything more that you can tell us about the presentation that you were making about the Vibrant Parish? Maybe some specifics of what you will be presenting.
Sure. The Vibrant Parish, again, was based on the pastoral letter of His Beatitude, Sviatoslav, the Vibrant Parish, a place to encounter the living Christ. And 2 years ago, the Synod asked, well, actually more than 2 years ago, but 2 years ago, the working group, along with the Secretariat for Sabors, the Patriarchal Sabor, we had a Patriarchal Sabor on the theme of the Vibrant Parish, which was held in Ivano-Frankivsk. And it was really meant to be, as His Beatitude said, an examination of conscience, sort of testing the water, testing our reality, where we are regarding this. And so in the Vibrant Parish, we have the 6 aspects of our church, which include liturgy and prayer, charity, service to others, leadership, promoting church unity, and also evangelization. And so this year, we're concentrating on liturgy, and also last year we were concentrating on what is diaconia, what is charity, how do we do that in our churches. And we were asked after the Sobor to have little assemblies in each of the eparchies to talk about some of the decisions that were made both on an eparchial level, and also there was 130 some resolutions coming from the Patriarchal Sobor, and we've grouped them together and how those are being implemented. So for example, regarding a vibrant parish, people I think often think that a vibrant parish is a parish that has, a couple hundred families, financially stable, a wonderful priest who preaches perfectly, and a great choir, a fabulous cantor, a diak, and that would be a vibrant parish. Well, I think that could be a vibrant parish, but in retrospect, we can also look at a vibrant parish as being a parish that maybe has only 25 people in it, and maybe the average age is somewhere around 75, and maybe they don't have such great economic situations, but everybody's involved. They realize when one of their members is absent, they are doing works of charity. They are in communication with each other. They perhaps have Bible study together. So a vibrant parish is often not always a viable parish, and a viable parish is one that, can sustain itself. And so we need to look at the various ways that our parish provides opportunities to encounter the living Christ. We've spoken a lot about the vibrant parish, and now we'll be certainly concentrating on that meeting. And certainly in our church on the Julian calendar, we've just celebrated the encounter. And the encounter begins with a meeting. And that meeting of Jesus Christ is essential as a part of a vibrant parish. And so we try to encourage our clergy and our eparchies to make sure that their parish is one that when people enter it, they truly can encounter, they can meet the living Christ.
Well, Bishop Ken, thank you very much for your words. We're certainly looking forward to, let's say, some positive results and public statements, and looking forward to maybe even having an opportunity to speak with Blaženіший about the results and the decisions made in the Postійний Synod. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and God bless you and all of your collaborators and those who are watching Kontakt on a regular basis.
Слава Ісусу Христу!
Слава навіки!
Як бачимо, навіть члени постійного синоду Української греко-католицької церкви не уповноважені говорити про проблему наміреного продажу площі розв'язаного монастиря українських отців Василіян на Вестон-Роуд в Торонті. Реагуючи на численні питання глядачів про стан продажу, ми двічі телефонічно і тричі електронною почтою зверталися до автора цього наміру, до настоятеля отців Василіян у Вінніпезі, отця протоігумена Гавриїла Гавера, 7 грудня і 12 лютого. 12 лютого ми теж в цій справі звернулися електронною поштою до владики Стефана Хмеляра. Канцелярія владики в Торонті швидко відповіла, що в цій вже справі треба звертатися до отця протоігумена Гавриїла Гавера. Того ж дня, 14 лютого, ми втретє пропонували протоігуменові отців Василіян пояснити глядачам і вірним церкви, що діється з Вестон-Роуд. Надіємося, що, може, при кінці синоду почуємо щось у цій справі від патріарха Святослава.
Церква Різдва Пресвятої Богородиці у Ніагара Фолз запрошує вас на візит Блаженнішого патріарха Святослава в суботу, 25 лютого о 6 годині вечора. Адреса церкви 6248 Main Street, Niagara Falls.